In eastern Polynesia, there were many significant female lines of leadership. In Rarotonga in the 1880s, women had taken on most of the powerful Ariki titles.
When the church came in, it changed to a woman. In fact, all of the Ariki started to become women. The pastors that were on the island gave the impression to the men that a higher calling was the church. And so they encouraged the men to go on missions. And many Rarotongans served mission in various parts of Melanesia. And some of them were sons of chiefs, and they died overseas, some of them. And so women started to hold those titles. Someone suggested that the missionaries found it easier to work with women than with men. So they preferred to have the women hold the titles.
One of the most influential Ariki was the Makea Takau in 1843. Her meteoric rise to power was largely due to the selling of her land in Avarua to the church and her handy position to Avarua Harbour.
The church became headquartered in Avarua on Makea land, made Makea important.
Well, a lot of it was force of circumstances. One, the missionaries supported her. Two, she lived in the right place, the right island, Rarotonga. Her palace that she built later is quite close to the two harbours where overseas whalers, British warships would come anchor outside, and she would be met by the captains and so on. She'd entertain them, and of course they built up this picture of a queen, which we never had, which is totally the wrong word to call a high chief Ariki.
Makea's power as an Ariki and first governor of Rarotonga took a major turn when France's armed takeover of Tahiti posed an imminent threat of invasion to Rarotonga. In 1888, Makea Takau resorted to seeking help from the British to set up a protectorate of Rarotonga, despite her suspicions of their colonial power.
When they decided that they preferred to be British rather than French, because the French were going around claiming various islands, there were rumors they were on their way to Rarotonga, and the English residents on the island, Nicholas family and so on, were trying to urge Makea Takau to fly the British flag. She was still distrustful, so she was a little suspicious about the whole thing. So she allowed the flag to be pulled to the mast, but not unfurled until they saw the French boat. Then they unfurled the flag. So that was the second part of her power source. The first one was really the Christian link. And then between the church, her link with the church and her link with the colonial, new colonial system, she became important.
Once the British protectorate sent their bureaucrats over here, power then began to shift to them, and they would dictate to her. And the records show that she knew what they were trying to do, but she was powerless to stop it. Things were now changing. People were become diverted to the new political, masters, and she too tried to interfere or to stop certain things from taking place, and of course she had given the power to the Brits.